Okay, so we're going to start in a comfortable seat, everybody. If it's comfortable to sit cross-legged, please do so. And if your knees are pretty high up, then I recommend elevating your sitting bones on a blanket or a pillow so that your knees are lower than your hips. This is going to help open up the hip flexors and give you the opportunity to be a little bit more upright. And you could sit on a blanket. I almost always sit on a blanket, even though I don't really technically need one, but it feels more comfortable for me. So you might experiment with that. So just kind of surfing around on the sitting bones to root a little bit more evenly. Let the weight of your legs drop down. Spine rising up from the ground of the pelvis. And the head just floating on top of the spine. Let the shoulders drop down away from the ears. So be sure you're sitting upright, but not with a sense of stiffness, that there's a sense of ease. So we're alert, but also relaxed. If it's comfortable, you can close your eyes or just turn your gaze downward. Bringing your awareness to your breath. I invite you to just let your breath breathe you here in the beginning of our practice. So we're not breathing any particular way necessarily. Sense of emptying before we begin. A sense of letting what's here be here and attuning to that present moment. Sitting for just a little bit longer here, starting to work a little bit more intentionally with the breath. So you might just notice this sense or potential for elongation or expansion through the spine on the inhalation. Kind of softening or settling with the exhalation. It's almost like we grow a little bit taller on the inhalation. And then see if you can bring your breath a little bit more into the sides of your torso and into the back ribs. We often get really forward focused, well, because we're facing forward. So we want a little bit more of a three-dimensional quality to the breath, feeling the ribs expand out to the side and almost like we're puffing up a little bit through the back ribs. We'll begin our movement inquiry here in a seat, but I invite you now to switch the cross of your legs for a little bit more sense of balance. And then we'll take a simple side bend. So your right hand can come down to the ground, stretching left arm up and over to the right. I usually mirror, letting the right shoulder drop down away from the ear, and maybe bringing the bottom or this right side of the rib basket a little bit more forward. And breathing into this left side especially. So we're working toward Parsva Bakasana or side crow. Some people call it crane. And we're going to work specifically with this idea of lengthening before we rotate. So we can even start to work with that a little bit right here in these last few breaths in this shape. So with your inhalation, elongate from root to crown. And then with your exhalation, just a slight little turn of the ribs and the heart more up toward the ceiling. With an inhalation, rising up through center, let your left hand come down. Let's take a breath here at center, brushing the spine with breath. And then left hand stays down, right arm sweeping up and over in this side bend to the left. Let the left shoulder relax down away from the ear. Working this sense of elongation or lengthening with the inhalation and a little opportunity, just slight rotation, heart toward the ceiling with the exhale. Make sure neck feels comfortable here. Last couple breaths here, really reach through the arm. And then when it feels right for you, inhaling to rise back up to center, pausing at center, aligning to your midline, to your spine, to your central channel. Next, we'll twist to the right. So left hand can come to your right thigh, right knee, walking your right hand back behind you. And sometimes we end up lifting the knee just because the hand is connected there, but instead try pressing gently the right leg down a little bit. Elongating root to crown with the inhale, and then finding a little slight rotation, maybe a little more rotation with the exhalation. You might even unwind slightly to find more length with inhale. Try to be especially easy with the neck here. So the head not leading the twist, the head more following the twist. And if you've got neck discomfort, you can even completely take the head out of the situation with the neck neutral or head neutral, nose in line with the sternum. Last couple of breaths here, elongate on inhale, rotate on exhale. Unwind your spine gently, gradually, coming back to pause at center. Take a breath here. And we'll twist to the left, right hand to the left thigh by the knee. Left hand can walk back behind you. Notice if your tendency is to lift the left knee with the hand and instead gently nudge it down. Easy with the neck here, maybe derotating, so nose is in line with sternum, thus really enabling us to be more rotated through center. Lengthen with inhale, rotate with exhale. Gently unwind your spine. Pause at center. Feel your breath in your body. And from here, we'll come into child's pose. Yes. So big toes can touch, knees can be closer together or wider apart. It's good to vary that. But let's be really active in our child's pose here. So rather than letting the arms and the shoulders drop down, we're going to kind of lift them up. Walk the hands forward, working length. And then press the hands into the ground. And press almost with this like away energy, like you're trying to push the floor away from you, and see how that allows the hips to draw a little bit further back. So head could be down if that's good for you, but there's more of this lifting action between the shoulder blades rather than a sinking or collapsing. This is going to be healthier for the shoulders as your default child's alignment. Breathing into the side body, maybe creeping the fingertips a little bit further forward, driving the hips a little bit further back, breathing into the side body, breathing into the back. Rising up to all fours. Wrists right beneath the shoulders, spread your fingers, and we can get this kind of dialing outward action of your hands, like you're trying to screw your hands into the floor, clockwise with the right hand, counterclockwise with the left hand. Tuck toes under. You could lengthen your stride here a little bit as we come into downward facing dog. So really push the floor away with your hands. And again, just like in child's pose, we don't want to sink into the shoulders and press the chest down toward the floor. There's almost this, instead, this lifting and broadening action between the shoulder blades or in the whole shoulder girdle itself. Still dialing the hands outward and really lifting up from the lower belly or the hips. You can bend the knees if you're feeling a lot of stretch in the hamstrings that's causing the spine to round. Head can be heavy here. The lower back down to all fours, adjusting if need be, so wrists are beneath shoulders. Knees can be a little bit shied in rather than directly underneath the hips. Working with cat-cow, initiating from the pelvis. So we'll arch here, or tilt the pelvis forward and let that undulate up the spine, ending with movement of the head, and then start again at the pelvis. Tuck the tailbone under, see if you can really work through the spine into cat. Find your own rhythm here. Waving through the spine. I would go pretty slow here so that you can really work each vertebra individually. About one more round, depending on your pace. And then coming back to neutral spine and down onto the forearms. Elbows are directly beneath the shoulders. If you're able to have your hands shoulder width apart, palms down, go for that. If you've got shoulder stuff going on, you could instead clasp the hands. Push the floor away with your elbows as much as you can, so there's this lifting and broadening action. across the upper back. You could stay right here or walk the knees back a little bit, drawing the abdominals toward the back, so really engaging the whole abdominal wall. If it works for you, tuck toes under, forearm plank. Gaze is down, tons of energy rooting the elbows into the floor. And the legs are active here too, so squeeze the glutes and press back through your heels. You can even use Mula Bandha here or root seal, drawing in and up with the pelvic floor. Lower the knees down, come back up onto the hands. Step your right foot forward. So we're in a lunge and we're going for this kind of shorter 90-90 lunge. So the back knee is directly underneath the hip and the front heel or front ankle is pretty much directly beneath the right knee. It could be a little bit back relatively. We're going for neutral pelvis here. So rather than tipping forward at all, we're staying really upright, engaging left glute, isometrically dragging right foot back, and then maybe stretching up through your arms. Let's keep the ribs down here for this variation today. So we're not lifting and arching. We're staying more upright and really reach through your arms. Slow, steady breath. Bring your hands down to the ground. And let's just step switch from here. So left foot forward, right knee beneath the right hip in this kind of short square shaped lunge. Pelvis is neutral. That means the pubic bone and your frontal hip points are vertical rather than tipped forward, or be pretty rare, but to be tipped back. Dragging the left foot isometrically back, engaging right buttock, maybe stretching the arms up, ribs stay down. Really going for length here. Coming back down onto the hands. Bring your left leg back. Come down onto the forearms, elbows beneath the shoulders. Press the floor away to lift up out of the shoulders. You can simply walk the knees back, keeping the belly drawing in, or toes tuck under, forearm plank. It's almost like we're tucking tailbone under a little bit here. Gaze is down. Lower the knees down. Come back up onto the hands. Step the right foot forward again in this square-shaped lunge. And then we'll bring the left hand down to the ground. And we'll kind of lean into the hand a little bit and kind of lean back. So we're already starting to approach a twist. Option to extend the back leg, so lift the back knee away from the ground. We're keeping the pelvis level here. Energy through the back leg, squeeze left glute. And then let's bring right fingertips to right temple. And let's work a little bit with the dynamic twist. So the hips aren't moving here. It's coming from the ribs. You might not get as far as if you move the hips. That's okay. And then unwind. Just keep the fingertips on the temple. Let's go a couple more times. Rotating through the ribs, the spine. Unwinding. There's weight in the left hand. And then the next time you open up into the twist, keep squeezing left glute here. You can stretch right arm up toward the ceiling. Left shoulder draws down away from the ear. And here too, we're dragging isometrically this right foot back. So it's not actually moving, but it's kind of gripping into the floor with this backward intention. Unwind your spine, bring the knee down to the ground, and then just step switch. I'm turning around so I'm still facing y'all. So left foot is forward. We're in this shorter lunge here. Bringing the right hand down to the ground. Dragging the left foot back. An option to lift the back knee off the ground. We really want to work this right glute here. Left fingertips to left temple. Lean into the right hand and then open up without disturbing the hips. And unwind. A couple more times. Take your time here. The next time you open up, maybe stretch left arm up toward the ceiling. Keep weighting into the right arm. Dragging left foot back, squeezing right glute. Unwind your spine. Step back to downward facing dog. And then from here, let's walk the feet up toward the hands. That's it. You can bend the knees if you want. Arms can sweep wide or straight on as you rise up. And then bring hands together at heart center. Inhale to chair, sweep the arms forward, reach forward, and then arms can continue up alongside the ears. Exhaling, touch the floor, maybe the knees stay bent. Inhale, lift halfway. Take all the rounding out of your back here. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. And let's just pause here. So we're pushing the floor away, dialing the hands outward, engaging your buttocks. And then we're pushing the floor away, but then just soften a little bit between the shoulder blades. So the heart, the chest, just a little bit sinking toward the floor. Gaze is down. Lifting up through your hips to downward facing dog. Keep the hips level as you stretch the right leg up and back to three-legged dog. Shifting forward to plank, bringing the right foot between the hands. Try to do it with control. Okay, and then we're rising up. Don't turn around. Don't do it though. We're rising up to warrior two. So right leg is forward in our warrior two. Your stride could be shorter. We want to hug the feet in toward each other and try to let the tailbone drop down. So see if you can find a little bit more of that neutral pelvis. Maybe shorter stride is better. From here, we'll sweep back to peaceful warrior, really breathing into right side. And then side angle, let's just do forearm to thigh for now. Sweeping the arm either up toward the ceiling or alongside the ear. Going back and forth, peaceful warrior. Hug your feet in toward each other. And side angle. Still hugging the feet in toward each other. One more time. Peaceful warrior, take your time. And side angle. Staying here in your side angle. If your forearm's on your thigh, have your palm facing up. Or if it feels right for you, you can bring your hand down to earth or block. Lengthen through the back leg, through the spine, through the arm. And then see if you can rotate or turn your ribs, your torso, your heart a little bit more up toward the ceiling. Still hugging the feet in toward each other. Pivot to frame your front foot with your hands. Step back to plank pose. Holding here, dialing the hands outward. Activate your legs, activate your glutes. Push the floor away, and then just soften a little between the shoulder blades. Mula Bandha, the root seal, drawing in and up with the pelvic floor. And try moving the abdominals toward your back. From your belly, from your hips, rising up and back to downward facing dog. Second side here, hips stay level. Sweep left leg up and back, three-legged dog. With control, as you shift forward to plank, keep your hips high here. Tuck the knee in, place the foot between the hands, rooting down through your back foot, rising up to warrior two. You might experiment with finding a bit more of a neutral pelvis here, maybe shortening your stride to make that happen. Hugging the feet in toward each other. Reaching forward and then reversing back, peaceful warrior, or reversed warrior, some people call it. Keeping the front knee bent, forearm to thigh. Right arm can go up toward the ceiling or alongside the ear. A couple more times, toggling back and forth between peaceful warrior and side angle, Parsva Bakasana. Moving meditation. One of these next times you end up in your side angle, you don't have to rush or cut any corners, just when you get there, you can keep your forearm on your thigh, palm faces up, or maybe bringing your hand down to earth or block, elongating through your leg, through your spine, even through the left side of the torso, and then adding a little rotation through the spine, heart up toward the ceiling. Pivot to frame your front foot with your hands. Once again, we're stepping back to simply hold plank. Energy through the legs. Engage your glutes. Hands dialing outward. Push the floor away. Slight softening between the shoulder blades. Gaze is down. From the belly, rising up and back, downward facing dog. Strongly push the floor away as you walk your hands back toward your feet. Coming into your forward bend at the back of your mat, knees could be bent. And then definitely bend the knees as we come back into chair pose, reaching through the arms. So lots of length through the side body from hips to fingertips. Nice. Root to rise all the way up. And let the arms float down through this ocean of energy. Just pausing here in mountain, in Tadasana. Slow, steady breath. Okay, next we're going to take a wide stance. This is called a Prasarita stance. Toes could be a little bit turned in. They could be turned out if your knees don't like the toes forward version. Well, let's keep the ankles and the hips stacked. We're going to fold forward and then stretch the arms forward. So I'm not coming forward onto the hands for this variation. This is more pushing the floor away, hands shoulder width apart, fingers spread. So just like in our child's or in our down dog, same kind of action here. Length through the arms, driving back through the hips. Breathing into the side, breathing into the back. Try not to sink into the shoulders here. Lifting up a little bit through the backs of the shoulders. Few more breaths here. Try adding, if you're not already, Mula Bandha, drawing in and up on the pelvic floor, with the pelvic floor. Drawing the abdominals inward. So not just the navel, to the right and left of the navel, just below the ribs, above the navel, just below the navel. Take your time here, walking your hands back so they're underneath your shoulders. Feel free to bend your knees, hands to the hips, rising up. Heel toe your feet to be under your frame. Tadasana, mountain pose. We're going to work a little bit with a gait variation, Harigasana. You might want your block here. We'll place the block off to the right. We'll come down onto the left knee with the right leg extended out to the right, and the toe mounds are on this top edge of the block. So toes are pointing up. You can have toes, left toes tucked or be flat. Try rooting down through the knee, squeezing left glute, and shifting your hips forward here. Right hand on the right leg, stretch the left arm just straight up first, so lengthening, 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 reach and root. And then keep all this length. The hips can shift a little to the left, just like they would for a triangle, as you side bend out over the right leg. Keep squeezing left buttock. That's it. Maybe bringing the right side of the rib basket a little bit more out in front of you. See how that feels. Gaze can be down if that's nicer for your neck. Last breath or two here. Really oxygenate left side. Root through what's on the ground. Reach through the left arm to rise up, and then bring the arm down. And let's set up for the other side. So if you're using the block, it goes off to the left. Right knee is under right hip. Extending left leg out to the left. Heels on the ground. Toe mounds are ramped up. Rooting through the knee, press the knee into the floor. That right already create this engagement of right glute and send the hip forward. Stretching right arm straight up. Feel this Opposite energy, rooting and rising. Slow, steady breath. And with your next exhalation, you can let the hips shift a little to your right as you side bend out over your left leg. Particularly if your torso is more facing the floor, the work is to bring the left side of the rib cage more forward and roll the right side of the rib cage back. Really reach through this right arm. Breathing into the right ribs. Slowly, carefully rising up. You can bring your knee underneath you. You can set your block aside and make your way back into downward facing dog. Keep your hips level. It's a slow, intentional movement, not a whip or a swing of the right leg up and back into three-legged dog. And then from here, we're coming into pigeon shape. So shifting forward, moving with intention, bring the right knee up toward the right arm. Bring your right foot maybe up toward your left hand. See how that feels for your knee. Once you bring the left knee down, see if you can walk the left leg back. Okay, if this feels like not so great pain versus a good stretch, you can rock onto your right hip and even bend this back knee. But if it works to stay with level pelvis, with square hips, then please do that. Okay, so you could try engaging left glute here. The hip is in extension, so engaging the back will help create more opportunity to open the front. And then from here, let's come down onto the forearms, but keep the chest lifted and keep the head up basically, not up, but let's not drop the head. That's considered an energy leak. So we're staying really active here in this yang style pigeon, pressing the right leg into the ground from the foot all the way to the knee. And just like we did in our lunge, where the front foot kind of dragged back without moving, you could find that same action with the right knee. From here, invitation to add a side stretch here. So a little bit more lifting through the torso, and then turning or even kind of walking your hands more to the right. So you're more over the right knee. And then right hand, I like to keep right hand down. That's up to you. And elbow bent. And walk, stretch, reach left arm over to that right diagonal. Maybe head comes down to the floor if you're that low. Maybe head comes to a block. Maybe it just stays up. And we're still active through the back glute, through the front leg, working this length through the left side from the foot all the way to the fingertips. Carefully, take your time here, coming back to center. You can walk that back foot in a little bit, coming onto your hands, stepping back, downward facing dog. Keep hips level. It's slow, intentional movement, not a whip or a swing. Left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Moving toward our pigeon shape, left knee toward the left arm. maybe left foot toward the right hand, if that feels safe for your knee. Once the right knee comes down, walk the leg back. Remember, if you're feeling not so great sensation here, you can rock to the left hip and bend your right knee. Otherwise, we're keeping the hips level and coming down to the forearms. Chest is staying lifted and open. Squeeze right glute and press the lower left leg into the floor from the foot all the way to the knee. Adding our side bend to the left toward that front knee. You can lift and walk a little bit, the whole torso, to orient more to the left leg. And then it's really all about this right arm stretching opposite the right leg. Try not to lose that action, those engagements of the left leg and the right glute. Gradually, carefully coming back to center. And back to downward facing dog. Hips stay level, right leg up and back, three-legged dog, so toes stay pointing down, they don't turn out to the sides. Shifting forward, placing right foot between the hands in runner's lunge. Squeeze left glute, Mula Bandha. You can hollow the belly here. And then we're going to repeat just a couple times this right fingertips to right temple. The hips aren't moving, so you might not move as far as if you dropped and rotated the hips. So staying really strong and engaged here, front foot drawing back, opening to the right, and then unwinding. You can weight into left hand a bit. And then this next time you open up, you can stretch right arm up like we did before, or left elbow to the right quad, joining the hands in prayer. Keep the hips level here, even if that means you're not twisting very much. So see if you can work lengthening, heel to crown on inhale, and then maybe just a little bit more rotation with the exhale. Unwind your spine, stepping back to plank pose. Let's lower the knees, everybody, keeping the wrists over the shoulders, or shoulders over wrists. So knees are back behind the hips. We're going to lower all the way down, drawing the elbows back, keeping the abdominals and the pelvic floor engaged, coming all the way down onto your belly. Let's keep the toes tucked under. Bring the forehead down to the ground. My head's lifted so I can yap away here. Arms back alongside the body. Really squeeze your glutes here. Sink the front of the pelvis into the ground a lot. And then rise up. Reaching back through the arms. Shalabhasana, locust. Bring hands beneath the shoulders. Keep drawing the elbows back as you push up onto hands and knees. And then continue to lift through the belly, downward facing dog. Hips stay level, so left toes Don't turn out to the side as you bring left leg up and back to three-legged dog. That's it. Shifting forward, slowly, intentionally. Left foot plants between the hands. We'll keep the right hand down. Squeeze right glute. Dragging left foot back. Left fingertips to left temple. Opening up. And then unwinding. A couple more times. This next time you open up, you can stay right here. You can stretch the left arm up, or we're placing the right elbow on the left thigh by the knee, joining the hands in prayer. Just kind of reaffirm your back leg length and engagement. And you can still be drawing left foot back and rotating through your torso. Try lifting the belly away from the front thigh. Unwind your spine. Step back to plank pose. One more time, let's lower the knees so we can really just like hone our alignment here. Elbows draw back. Abdominals are engaged here toward the back body as you lower all the way down. Toes tuck under. Tuck your tailbone under. Root through the pelvis. You can even hollow the belly away from the floor here. Lifting up, locust. Doesn't have to be high. Hands plant. Draw the elbows back toward your feet. Come up, push the floor away to all fours, and then on to downward facing dog, breathing here. Walking the feet up toward the hands. Knees a little bit bent, at least, rising all the way up. Arms can reach up, not the ribs. And bringing hands, palms together at heart center. Samasthiti, standing with equanimity. Slow, steady breath. Just give yourself time and space to be. Okay, let's release arms by the sides. If you'd like to work with a block here, you can place it between your inner thighs and then bring the feet as close together as is comfortable to get a good grip on the block. Squeeze the block. Keep your ribs down as you stretch your arms up toward the ceiling. This is simple, maybe not easy, but just simple here. So energy into the block, reaching up, up, up through the arms. The shoulders can rise here. We don't want to pop the ribs forward. Go on reaching and rooting. Two more breaths. And then release your arms down. And we'll remove the block. And then if it works for your hips, you can bring big toes together, a little space between the heels. You could go wider if that's better for you. We're going to take a revolved chair. So remember, we're lengthening before we rotate. So we'll stretch the left arm up, I'm mirroring, and really reach through the arm. Feel this whole left side elongate. Then bend the knees, hips go back and down, hooking the elbow to the outside of the knee, joining the hands in prayer. Before you start to push into your deep twist, just work length here. So send your hips further back and the crown of your head further forward. That's more of an energetic feeling than a visual result. And then Keep lengthening with your inhale, and just with your exhale, find maybe a little bit more rotation. Let it really come from your center, more so than a cranking with the arm. That's it. Nice work, everybody. Let's turn the gaze down here. And then unwind and rise up to stand. And just be with your breath here for a moment. Okay, second side, stretching right arm up toward the ceiling, left arm can just come down. Really elongate here, so shoulder rises up, reach, 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 like you could touch the ceiling. And then keep this length as you bend the knees, hips go back and down. And we're hooking the elbow to the outside of the knee, joining the hands in prayer. Let's just pause here before we go deeper and take a couple breaths lengthening. So shoulders are moving down away from the ears and the spine is growing longer from root all the way to crown. Then keep lengthening with inhale and don't go all the way right at once. With each exhale, find a little bit more rotation from your center, more so than from cranking the arms. Let's turn the gaze down. From here, unwind and fold forward. You can walk back to the top of your mat if you're not there. In Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Let the head go here. Through inhale, you can slide your hands to your shins, lift halfway, plant your hands, walk back, downward facing dog. Hips stay level as right leg rises up and back, slowly, intentionally, like moving through honey, three-legged dog. As you shift forward, bring the right foot between the hands. Try to do it with control rather than a swing. So squeeze in as you shift forward. Place your foot between your hands. We're coming to revive triangle. You might want your block for this. So right foot is forward. Scoot your back foot in order to root the heel. And you might want to be more railroad tracks rather than balance beam. It'll just be a little bit more accessible for balancing the hips. So we're going to place the block to the outside of the right foot and rise up. Like me, you might have come up and your right hip is forward relative to your left hip. So we're going to pull the right hip back. You can pull the right foot back into the mat until the hips are squared. So feeling that action, engaging the back glute because the hip is in extension, stretching left arm up. Yeah, so right foot is forward, you got it. Left arm is up and really reach here. Feel this line of energy through the back leg all the way through to the fingertips. Keep the scissoring action going too. Keep all this length and start to hinge at the hips until the spine is parallel to the floor. Then just bring your left hand to the block. So you can go lower setting if you want, but we want the spine parallel to the floor. Okay, so we're continuing to scissor the hips. The hips aren't moving. You can even bring your right hand to your sacrum, just kind of keep yourself honest here. That might mean you don't go as far as if you let the right hip rise. That's okay, it's a more integrated twist. So with the inhalation, we're elongating root to crown, and then exhaling, rotating through the spine. You can push the left hand into the block a bit. See if that helps. Nice work. Try not to let the left hip drop. And then when you feel like you can't turn anymore through your center, maybe hand on hip, maybe arm stretching up. Okay, from here we're going to come into revolved half moon. So we'll unwind the spine. And if you're working with a block, place it out in front of you with your left hand connected to it. Push right foot into the floor to bring the left leg parallel to the floor. Energy through the back leg. Remember, we're working length here. So elongating from heel to crown. You can draw the bottom of the rib cage in if it's popping forward toward the floor. And then we're twisting to the right again. So the hips are staying stable, turning through your center. And then when you can't rotate anymore through your spine, maybe right arm rises up. Try hugging inner thighs toward each other. Unwind your spine. Reach the left leg way back to land in this lunge shape. Step back to plank pose. We can lower knees or not for chaturanga. I'm going to lower all the way down though, so we're going like through chaturanga. So draw the elbows back, back, back. So like chest is moving forward as you lower onto your belly. Keeping your hands where they are for cobra, but let's keep toes tucked under. Press back through your heels, sink the pubic bone into the ground, and then hands are on the ground, but let them just rest there lightly as you lift up a little bit using your back muscles. Elbows can still draw back here. You can try hollowing the belly away from the floor. That might feel nicer for the back. Then we kind of reverse push up here. So keep drawing your elbows back. Push the floor away to plank. Hips rise up and back. Downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog, keeping hips level. With control, hips stay high, hug the leg in. Left foot plants between the hands. Setting up for revolved triangle, Parivrtta, Trikonasana. So the blocks to the outside of the left foot. We're going to scoot the right foot in to bring it completely to the ground and rise up. You might want more of a railroad track stance, particularly if you're having a hard time squaring your hips. So we drag this left foot isometrically back so the hips both shine forward. That's it. And this right hip is in extension, so engaging the right glute is a good idea. Stretching up through the right arm. I'm just going to take a couple breaths here, working the length. And then keep reaching up through the arm. And the energy down through the right heel as you hinge just until the spine is parallel to the floor. That's the end of the hip hinge movement. Right hand coming down to the block. Let's bring the left hand to the sacrum so we can keep that still as we slowly rotate. So you can do it one breath at a time. Twisting happens on exhale. And then when you've reached the end of your rotation, then stretch the arm up. The shoulders should feel a lot better than if you just bring the arm up before you twist. Keep working length on inhale, rotation on exhale. You can push the right hand into the block. Unwind your spine. Revolved half moon. Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. So block is on the right hand in front. We'll push the left foot into the floor to come up. It's basically like a warrior 3 at this point. Energy through the back leg. Starting to twist through your center. Hips aren't moving. When you reach the end of your rotation, maybe the left arm reaches up or out of the shoulder. Try hugging inner thighs toward each other. Unwind your spine, hand touches down, right foot lands to the back of the mat. Stepping back to plank pose. Maybe knees come down here. We want strong core. Elbows draw back. We're lowering all the way down onto the belly once again. Cobra pose with the toes tucked under. So root through the front of the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, even kind of tuck your booty under. Draw the elbows back. First lift with your back muscles. And then if you want to lift more, it's not just pressing the hands down, it's a down and kind of drag back energy. Like the chest is moving forward and up through the gate of your arms. And you can lower down a little bit here, reaching the elbows back, firm through your core, push the floor away to plank, hips rise up and back, downward facing dog. Once again, we'll push the floor away to walk the hands back toward the feet. To Uttanasana, separating your feet hip width apart, placing your hands under your feet. Padahastasana. Knees could be bent here. Head is heavy. Drawing upward through the arms, pushing down through the feet. And then flip the hands so the palms are down, still underneath your feet, but palms are down and thumbs point out to the sides. The elbows can bend here as you press the palms down. Let the head be heavy. Free your hands out from underneath your feet. You can bend the knees a lot here. We're rising all the way up. Sweep the arms wide or straight out in front. Ribs stay down. And then arms floating down through this ocean of energy to Tadasana, mountain pose. Okay, we're going to take a wide stance once again, this time for a twisting version of Prasarita Padottanasana. So feet relatively wide without getting too carried away here. Hinge at the hips to fold forward. Let's just go halfway at first here. Hands beneath the shoulders, spine pretty much parallel to the floor. Spread the toes. Root through the inner and the outer edges of the feet. Try drawing the abdominals toward the back. And then we're going to add a rotation here. So let's bring the left hand over to the right ankle or wherever you can grab. It might be higher up the leg. That's fine. So outer ankle. And then walk your right hand forward. And see if you can turn just from your center, not from your hips. And kind of look up underneath your right armpit. Even here, finding a sense of elongation with your inhale and rotation with the exhale. Try not to crank and be kind to yourself. Head could just hang if that's better for you. Last couple breaths here. Really walk this right hand away. You might feel that all the way into the armpit, the pectoral muscles. And then gently, gradually coming back to center. And then we'll bring the right hand, it goes kind of behind the left arm, over toward left ankle, outer ankle, maybe higher up on the outer leg if the ankle's too far away to feel nourishing. Walk your left hand forward, away from you, and then turning to kind of look up underneath the left arm. Make it more about your breath. Gradually making your way back to center. Hands beneath the shoulders. We're going to walk the feet in to come to a squat. So heel toeing the feet in. Let's have feet kind of wide for our first malasana here. Letting the hips settle down. If you would prefer to have some support, if your knees aren't happy, you can sit on a block or two. Bringing the arms to the inside of the legs. Joining the hands in prayer. You can circle out the wrists here a little bit. Arms press into legs. Legs press back into the arms. Chest open. From here, bring your hands just behind you so you can lower onto your sitting bones and stretch legs out in front. So if you're feeling like you're kind of tipped back, it's hard to be upright. We want this neutral pelvis here. So we want the frontal hip points vertical with the pubic bone. So if the hip points are dropping back, this is where we would use a blanket to sit on the edge. This will help the pelvis to tilt forward. Okay, and then just finding some breath here. Legs are out in front, feet are flexed, thighs rooting, lifting up through the sides of the torso. Breathing into the sides and the back. Ardha Matsyendrasana. This is a seated twist. So let's place the right foot to the outside of the left knee. I often see people pulling the foot back. Let's just keep the foot in line with the knee. And then option to bring the heel next to the hip. But not if then you can't sit down or you feel like really awkward or uncomfortable, then the bottom leg stays straight. Okay, we'll take the right hand and walk it back behind the body. So we're already starting to twist. Try to keep pressing down through the right foot. Stretch left arm up. Go for the length here, rooting, rising, reaching, and then from your center, so no arm yet or no left arm yet, turning, turning, turning through your center, and then lower the arm and just see if the elbow gets there, or if it doesn't, then wrap the arm instead. So we're not trying to hook the elbow and then rounding the spine and losing our length here. Really important. Continuing to work with your breath, twisting on exhalation. You can pull your belly back away from your right thigh and engage the root seal, Mula Bandha. Go easy with the neck here, maybe even aligning nose with sternum. Gently unwind. Stretch right leg out in front. Left foot to the outside of the right knee. And then if you can still stay grounded and upright, and you want to, you can tuck your heel next to your sitting bone. We'll start the twist by walking the left hand back. We're not even using the right hand at all at this point. Rotation coming from the center. Then stretch right arm up. Really reach here as you root through your sitting bones. Touch the ceiling. Rotate, rotate, rotate. No arm yet. Turn from your belly. Then as you bring your arm down, does the elbow just conveniently land, or is it miles away and you'd be better off wrapping the arm, because it's not about the shape, it's about the experience and the length. Breath is in the foreground. Unwind your spine. You can cross your legs, come forward to all fours, and then tuck toes under and rock back onto your feet into a squat. So we're going to try to have feet together now. You can use a blanket underneath your heels if they're not down. The heels are going to come up anyway, but we work progressively and you can stop anywhere along the way. So if you're having trouble just staying balanced here, you can hug the legs, lift and spread the chest, maybe staying here. Legs squeeze together a ton. Next stage, next step would be to rock off of the heels onto the toes. So heels are lifted up. Okay, we're going to keep the right hand down. If the right hand is far away, you can use a block underneath it so you don't have to crouch to get to it. So we're working length here, stretching up, up, up through left arm. Reach, reach, reach. How long can you get through your left side from your hip to your fingertips? Maybe this is where you stay, squeeze the legs together. Or we're going to keep lengthening and start to turn to the right. Turn, 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 lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then we're going to bring the hands down off to the right. So we're trying to get this left elbow or left arm to the outside of the right knee, just like we did in chair pose. Hands come to the ground. Spread the fingers, dial the hands outward, push the floor away. You could stay right here. Or we want to think forward more than up here. Knees have to squeeze together, squeeze the feet together too. We're shifting forward, chest moving forward onto the hands, off of the feet. You can try a couple times. Maybe it's a shift forward and back. Maybe it's keeping the fingertips on the ground, working the length, working the rotation. So as I mentioned last week, when I learned this, both my arms were the shelf. And then later I learned to do it with just the left arm as your shelf. So you can experiment with any of those. We're going to try the other side. Awesome. So we're working on lots of different things here. Work on whatever you feel you need working on. Maybe it's staying right here. Maybe it's lifting the heels, staying right here. Maybe it's stretching, second side now, right arm stretching up, 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 up. Working the length through the right side. And then we keep all this length. That's what gives us the room to find the rotation we need. It's a ton of rotation to bring the right hand down, or whatever your second side is. Hands are shoulder width apart, everybody. Dialing the hands isometrically away from each other, pushing the floor away. Maybe you're staying right here. Keep lifting your chest here, right? Like my tendency is to kind of collapse, so I really want to lift here. Squeezing the knees together. Adductor work. You can stay right here or elbows bend. They don't bend out wide, just like in our chaturanga, we lower down, the elbows bend back. And then you can experiment with shifting your chest forward and coming off of your feet. Maybe it's a tiny little rock and the feet feel like lead. That's okay. We're working where we are with what we've got with gratitude. One side's usually easier than the other. Okay, and then whenever you feel like enough's enough, you can just shake out your wrists. Maybe give them a little circle. And then I'd like to come into a supported fish, everybody. So we use the block on the low, wide setting. Placing your block down first. Unlike with supported bridge, we don't want to come down and then try to get the block under there. So the block is going to go underneath kind of the mid upper back area, more toward the bottom of the shoulder blades. We don't want it too high up, and we definitely don't want it down in the lower back. So as you lie back, you can just have your hands on the block maybe and kind of micro adjust so that the tops of the shoulders are draping toward the floor. If it feels pretty crappy, I recommend just shifting up or down, and you might be able to find a sweeter spot. If you feel like you're going to get your head chopped off, you can put your blanket underneath your head. So the head is dropping back, but how much is negotiable? And then gentler for the shoulders is arms down. More opening for shoulders and chest could be cactus or even holding elbows up around the head. And then you might straighten your legs here on the floor. So really opening through the belly. And creating length now, more in the front body. Breathe into the back ribs. Breathe into the side body. Okay, and then we're gonna transition here, so you can bring your arms down, chin in toward the chest, press your arms down to rise up. Now setting up for a bridge pose. It could be supported or unsupported, or if you're feeling up for Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward bow, then that's an option too. Okay, so for bridge or supported bridge, the feet plant, we lift the hips up. If you want to support your bridge, you can place your block underneath your sacrum. It's not the lower back, it's not the fleshy buttocks, it's in between. You have 3 different settings. Something different might be what your body's calling for. So please give it that, whatever it is, moving intentionally. Or upward bow, hands are alongside the head, elbows draw in and reach back. And we press the hands and feet down and rise up. If you're in active bridge or upward bow, squeeze your glute muscles. If you're doing upward bow, you can lower down and maybe rest and then take another round. Same with bridge or staying in your supported bridge. If something different's calling out to you, go for that. I encourage you to do something more symmetrical. So we're realigning with the midline. We did all kinds of rotation, all kinds of asymmetrical poses. So coming back to center. I'm taking maybe about a half a minute more for your exploration, or you can just, say goodbye and keep on going if that's what you like. And then if you're with me, you're eventually going to come into Shavasana. It's the beauty of online practice. You're not disruptive if you're doing something totally different, giving your body and your spirit what it needs. And so if you are in Shavasana, just letting the body drop, close your eyes and rest. And coming back into the river of breath. And coming back into your body, a sacred vessel. And feel free to remain in Shavasana. If you are ready to transition, you can take your time here, bending your knees, rolling to your side, eventually rising up. And bringing palms together at heart center, or maybe particularly if you're lying down, you can stack your hands on top of your heart, or if that just feels better. Inviting gratitude for all that you can do, for all the blessings and abundance in your life, and for each and every single breath, a gift of life. And if you feel called, you can join me chanting Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Om Peace Peace Peace. We'll take a breath in. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.